Take one. I'm doing this take for fun. This is an economic report regarding the climate change agenda and why no one has mentioned this report that I'm going to do right now. And it's regarding the high price of gasoline right now at $4.59 a gallon. And I wrote about this in 2006, that ethanol was available for Indianapolis 500 car races. And the fact that I was able to do pretty much a play-by-play written report of a race that was going on. ABC, I believe, was the one broadcasting the report. But all those cars, that race, were ran by ethanol. Now, ethanol is a 85 octane, and there's a couple of tricks to the ethanol usage. But since that Indianapolis 500 race, the broadcast, me publishing it in the book, The State of the Union in Our Democracy, how the two parties have failed us, basically the Bible and copycat of the woke agenda, but vice versa of the idea that I wanted to do. But what I'm concerned with and curious about is why no one since 2006, 7, or 8 have been able to come up with an idea to, number one, lower the gas prices, and number two, start getting our cars using alternative energy such as ethanol, versus having to give Elon Musk all that money for cars that none of us can afford. Now look, if you're not going to provide everyone with a Tesla, and you're not going to give the car to everyone to drive or have a means of paying for it without getting us in debt, then your agenda is either too slow, you only want the people that you want to get the credit for as your spokespeople, or you're just not smart enough to come up with the ideas to do that kind of work when it comes to the demand of the environment. And I'm calling all the wokers out, and the Democrats and the Congress with no ideas in that $3.5 trillion plan. I have an idea that I'm going to give to you for free, just to give it to you because I'm doing this for fun, just to see if you're able to do this idea while you're proposing an idea of trillions of dollars of debt. And the idea is this: ethanol usage for our vehicles 50%, and allowing people to afford those cars at 0% financing. Now, George W. Bush decided to bail out the American car industry. And what that did was set the stage for lackluster leadership in Congress, the administration, and the car companies by not adapting to green energy in 2008, by continuing to use gasoline and being in the demand of OPEC, whether we opened a pipeline or not. The pipeline, of course, alleviated that pain, but the green energies and the wokers, I'm calling you out on this take. No one's come up with the idea. I'm giving you the idea because it's come to my attention that the Dodge Challenger and Dodge vehicles can run on ethanol, but they need a specific timing adjustment to the vehicles. In fact, if you were to go and mechanically time all Dodge vehicles, I believe they all can run on ethanol fuel as of right now to alleviate some of the pain and give one car company the advantage of getting on the ball to start the other car companies to adapt their motors to allow the ethanol use without doing the timing and the mechanical adjustments. Right now, if the government were to give each person $1,000 for mechanical use tax rebate to use to go and put into your car as an investment to get your timing and your adjustments and your whatever you might need to buy to use ethanol, it is possible. And within 12 years, the environment would be clean by that fuel usage. Now, the trick to ethanol and California is we're short water. So I would propose Orange County to become an energy ethanol efficient county to where we make money through the sale of ethanol to be able to pay for affordable housing and to lower the cost of living, such as inflation, for all Orange County local residents by making us rich. Number one, this idea that Gavin Newsom has not proposed ethanol counties shows his inability to be a green energy governor with a $76 billion surplus, knowing the information that the Dodge can run on ethanol. The Dodge Challenger is a very fast car, and if it could run on ethanol, that means the other Dodges can also run on ethanol. Now, the governor is more concerned about marijuana than he is about agriculture, knowing that we are in a water shortage, and the amount of water that it costs to produce the crop versus going out of state like Alaska or Canada and having it medical use versus recreational use just shows that he just doesn't really care about the environment, because the weight of the environment wasting all that water is proof that the current governor cares more about money than he does about green energy by simply changing it back to medical use versus recreational use to alleviate some of that pain and wasted water. Now, going back to ethanol, you will have to recycle the water to produce the ethanol. But Orange County and Californians are very intelligent when it comes to things like that. And I propose that Orange County becomes an ethanol city and finance revenue to start paying back some of the debt and start putting in some real ethanol infrastructure in our county. And whether the government wants to federally give us money or not, we could do it without them and prove that green energy starts locally. If you want to have a governor that's going to suppress this, they've already suppressed this, the national government, since 2008. The fact they gave bailouts to the American car company and they have not lowered the financing for people to not be in debt to buy cars is one thing. But for them not to make the adjustments to green energy now 15 or 14 years in shows they're not willing to adapt to the green energy concept. And we need to start being more environmentally intelligent when it comes to things like the environment, gas prices, and if you really care, because we cannot afford Teslas. Unless you're going to give people a $20,000 Tesla to finance at 1.9%, then right now the only solution is converting the cars that are already on the marketplace and on the road. And that starts with Dodge. If the Challenger could run on ethanol, then the government could give each person a $1,000 tax break to take their American cars to the mechanic and adjust the timing and whatever they need to put a converter in there so we could start running on ethanol and paying less for fuel and also being more cleaner to the environment until we could find other biofuels that the cars could run on safely that's better for the environment rather than giving the money to OPEC while these countries want to make deals pretending that they're adversaries when they're buddy all the time in the Middle East, going from all the countries, Iran, Saudi Arabia, Russia. We don't need to buy oil from those countries anymore if we adapt to ethanol. And I'm going to leave the take right there at youtube.com.